I was knee-deep in fixing a busted sink in the kitchen when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Normally, I'd ignore it. But something told me to answer this one. Maybe it was the way the dog, Tucker, perked his ears up. Maybe it was the quiet. Either way, I picked up, grumbling into the phone. "Mr. Hale, this is Officer Dresden with the Tampa PD. Do you know a Camille Hale?" My stomach dropped like I just missed a stair-step in the dark. Camille. My wife of 18 years. The woman I met freshman year at FSU. The mother of my daughter, Emily. The woman who just 2 months ago told me she needed a break from our routine life to go find herself at a yoga retreat in Sedona. Turns out, Sedona was actually a beachside condo in Sarasota, and she wasn't there alone. We've taken Mrs. Hale into custody. There's been a dispute, a domestic incident involving a man named Brad Keener. Brad freaking Keener. Her college ex. The guy she swore was just a dumb phase. The same guy who once got drunk at a tailgate and tried to fight a parking meter. That Brad, I couldn't speak. My mouth opened, but nothing came out except for the faint hiss of disbelief. "I'm sorry to call like this," the officer continued, "but she listed you as her emergency contact." Of course she did. I got the address and drove there like a bat out of hell. Took me 2 hours. Every mile added a new thought, a new theory. Was she cheating? Was this just some midlife crisis thing? Was I just the boring guy she settled for? When I arrived, the condo looked like a damn bachelor pad out of an HGTV nightmare. Neon lights, golf clubs stacked by the door, and a pool table where a dining table should have been. A cop was already escorting Camille to the squad car. She saw me and froze. Her hair was a mess, one flip-flop missing, and mascara smudged down one cheek. "Chris, I didn't mean for you to find out like this." That's what she said. "No, I'm sorry. No, let me explain. Just that Brad stood at the door, shirtless, with a scratch down his chest and blood on his lip. He gave me a half-drunk shrug, holding a beer like this was all some hilarious episode of Cops. "I told you this would happen," he slurred. She never stopped loving me. I wanted to hit him, I really did. But the officer gave me a look that said, "Don't." So I didn't. Instead, I turned to Camille. "You want to explain what the hell is going on?" She looked away. That was her answer. I should have walked away then. I should have packed up, gone home, and called a lawyer. But I was still in shock. I needed answers. And I got them. Just not the ones I expected. Back home, I found a letter taped to our fridge. She must have written it before she left. It said she was tired of being a housewife and wanted to reconnect with the part of herself that existed before motherhood. That part apparently included draining our joint savings account to the tune of $93,000. She took it all. Every cent, even the rollover from my old 401k. I had been saving to buy a small fishing boat when I retired in 3 years. Guess I'll be fishing in the kiddie pool now. I called the bank in a panic. They confirmed the withdrawals, all authorized, all legal. "Joint account, Mr. Hale. She didn't do anything illegal. You'll need to take it up in court." "Yeah, court. A place I never wanted to see unless I was on jury duty." Emily, our daughter, called later that night. She was crying. Said her mom showed up at her apartment drunk, screaming about how I ruined her life, and that Brad was her real soulmate. I didn't know what hurt more, hearing that or hearing it from my kid. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on the couch with Tucker and stared at the ceiling fan spinning like my thoughts. I didn't even cry. Not yet. That came later. But in that moment, I made a decision. I wasn't going down without a fight. Not just for my money, but for my dignity. For Emily. For the 18 years I gave to a woman who burned it all for a guy who still wears board shorts in his 40s. "You want war, Camille? Fine, let's go." I spent the next morning at the courthouse standing in a line of people, who all looked like they'd been kicked in the teeth by life. One guy was muttering about his cousin stealing his lawnmower. Another lady was crying into a folder labeled, "Custody Appeal." Misery had a dress code, wrinkled polo shirts, bags under the eyes, and that blank, stunned stare. When it was my turn, I filed for separation. The clerk barely looked up. She just handed me a thick packet and said, "Good luck." Didn't feel lucky. I felt like a used punching bag. On my way out, I called our financial advisor, Doug. We'd known him for years. He was at our wedding. Hell, he even bought us a toaster. "Chris, I've been meaning to call you," Doug said, voice tight. "That's never a good sign." He cleared his throat. "Camille came to see me 3 weeks ago. She had all the right documentation. Said you two were buying a vacation property in Belize. Belize, we couldn't even afford a damn weekend in Key West. She liquidated everything in your name, the retirement fund, the brokerage account, even your personal savings. It was all joint access, so I couldn't. I hung up before he finished. I knew he meant well, but I didn't need an apology. I needed a damn time machine. So I went digging. Camille left her laptop behind. Probably figured I wouldn't touch, but I did. I wasn't looking for porn or love letters. I wanted receipts. And oh, I found them. Emails with Brad, bank transfers, a document titled newlifebudget.xlsx. Like this was a school project. There were even links to property. Listings in Puerto Rico, not Belize. Puerto freaking Rico. Then I found the kicker, a prenup draft. She had written up a prenup template dated just 2 months before she left and had emailed it to her sister, writing, "If I can guilt him into re-upping our vows, I'll slide this into the paperwork. He's too sentimental to say no." Let me say this plain. My wife tried to Trojan horse a prenup into a fake vow renewal. I sat back, staring at that screen like it was written in Martian. I'd spent years waking up early to brew her coffee just the way she liked it. 2 sugars. Oat milk, half a stir. I memorized that dumb recipe like it was gospel. I drove her to yoga when her car battery died. I picked up her prescriptions. I listened to her talk about crystals and full moons and energy cleansing like it made sense, and now she was calling me the villain? I slammed the laptop shut and felt something inside me click. Not break, click like the safety coming off a loaded weapon. I stopped being heartbroken. I got pissed. I made a call to a lawyer named Linda Ramos. She came highly recommended, mid-50s, sharp as a tack, with a voice like gravel and a reputation for making cheaters cry in depositions. She didn't ask if I wanted revenge. She asked if I wanted results. "I can get you restitution," she said. "You'll need to show proof she misrepresented finances during the withdrawals, and we need to act fast. She's trying to flee." I sent her the laptop. Within 24 hours, she filed a motion to freeze whatever funds were left in Camille's new solo account. Linda also dug up something wild. Turns out Brad had a record. Fraud. Back in 2012, he ran a fake investment scheme and scammed 3 retirees out of 70 grand. Guess who vouched for him during the investigation? Camille. Yup. She already lied to law enforcement once for this guy. That was before Emily was even born, and here I was, wondering if maybe I had done something wrong. Linda looked me dead in the eye and said, "This woman didn't just cheat on you, Chris. She made you an accessory to her fantasy life. That's not love. That's manipulation." The court granted an emergency injunction. Brad and Camille were served while sipping mojitos on some Airbnb balcony. The account freeze hit them like a freight train. Suddenly, their grand tropical escape plan turned into a budgeting nightmare. Later that night, Camille finally called me. First time since her arrest. No apology, no tears, just, "How could you do this to me?" I laughed, actually laughed. "You burned our life to the ground," I said. "I just turned the sprinklers on." Then I hung up. But I wasn't done. There was one more surprise coming. One that would flip her world upside down. Because Brad's not just a fraud. He's also married. And his wife? Oh, she's about to join the party. Her name was Vanessa Keener. I found her the old-fashioned way, Facebook snooping. Brad's profile was set to private, of course, but he slipped up and posted a group photo a month ago at some local craft beer fest. Tagged in it was Vanessa Keener, feeling annoyed. I clicked faster than a kid trying to hide browser history. Vanessa's profile was public, not baby photos and dog memes public. No, this was scorched earth. If he cheats, I post it all public. Every post dripped with shade, so I messaged her. I was careful, direct, honest. "Hi, my name's Chris Hale. I believe your husband Brad is having an affair with my wife Camille. I have proof and I'm not looking for drama. But I thought you deserve to know," she responded within 5 minutes. "That slimy bastard, let's talk." We met the next day at a coffee shop halfway between our homes. Vanessa showed up in yoga pants, sunglasses, and a bun so tight it could cut glass. She looked tired, like emotionally drained for a decade, tired. I laid out everything, photos, emails, account transfers. I even brought a copy of Camille's newlifebudget.xlsx file. Vanessa flipped through the printouts like a forensic accountant with a vendetta. Then she pulled out her own receipts, literal ones. Turns out, Brad had been draining her accounts too. He'd taken out a line of credit against their house and told her it was to flip a property in Puerto Rico. Same property Camille had bookmarked. So this genius wasn't just two-timing. He was funding both fantasies with each other's money. Vanessa took a long sip of her coffee and said something I'll never forget. "Let's burn the whole thing down." I grinned. "You read my mind." Step 1. Vanessa filed for divorce. Fast. She had all the financials plus a handy little recording from a phone call she'd made to Brad that morning where he basically admitted everything. Florida's a one-party consent state. That baby was gold. Step 2. Linda, my lawyer, filed an additional claim alleging financial abuse and misappropriation of marital assets. Because of Brad's prior fraud record, the court took it seriously. Real seriously. Step 3. We went public, not Reddit public, not yet. But Vanessa had a decent following on Instagram. Mostly yoga moms and wine club types. She posted a side-by-side photo. Brad and Camille in one frame, laughing on a beach. In the other, a screenshot of the property listing with the caption, "When your husband uses your mortgage to buy a love nest for his mistress. Hope they enjoy the sun before the subpoenas rain in." It blew up. Local drama spreads like wildfire, especially when the main characters are attractive and stupid. Camille called again. This time she screamed, "Why are you doing this? You're ruining everything." I didn't scream back, I just said, "You did that all on your own." She tried to twist it. Claimed I was vindictive, that I was turning Emily against her, that she deserved happiness. Look, I'm not a monster. I get that people fall out of love, but if you want out, then say it. Don't siphon off a man's life savings and shack up with a used car version of your college ex. Camille didn't get it. Still doesn't. But Brad, he was getting nervous. Linda forwarded me an email from his lawyer. They wanted to settle and minimize public exposure. Translation: We know we stepped in it and now we want to wipe it off without court TV cameras. Vanessa wasn't having it. She wanted him exposed. She wanted restitution, and bless her, she wanted to see Camille suffer. So we made a plan. They had one last court appearance scheduled before the full financial review. That's when we dropped the hammer. Vanessa served Camille with a civil lawsuit for co-conspiring to commit financial fraud. The basis? Camille knew Brad was using stolen marital funds to buy property under both their names. That beachside condo? Now a crime scene. But here's the real kicker. Turns out Brad forged Camille's signature on one of the purchase documents to speed up the deal. She found out too late. She wasn't the alpha in this love story. She was a pawn. I swear I almost felt bad for her, almost. Because when she stormed out of the courtroom, humiliated and speechless, she locked eyes with me. And for the first time since this mess began, she looked small. Not dramatic, not furious, just small. And I felt nothing. No rage, no sadness, just peace. That night I got home and opened a beer. Tucker curled up next to me. The house was quiet. Peaceful, mine. Then Emily called. "Dad, I want to stay with you for a while. I nearly broke. Yeah, baby, come home." Emily moved in 2 days later with nothing but a backpack, her bass guitar, and that same tired look I saw in the mirror every morning. She didn't say much at first, just unpacked in silence, plugged her phone into the charger near the couch, and curled up with Tucker like she'd never left. She didn't ask about her mom. I didn't bring her up. We both needed a break from Camille's hurricane of drama. But the calm didn't last. The storm came back swinging. Camille showed up at my door a week later, unannounced, wearing an outfit that screamed divorce glow-up. Tight jeans, fake tan, oversized sunglasses. She looked like she walked off the set of a Real Housewives reunion special. "I want to talk to my daughter," she said flatly. "Then call her," I said. "This isn't your house anymore." "She won't pick up." "Maybe ask yourself, why?" She pushed past me like she still lived there, Tucker growled. I didn't stop her. I just followed her to the living room where Emily was on the couch, headphones on, pretending not to see her. Camille yanked the headphones off her. "Em, what the hell? You haven't returned my calls." "Because I don't want to talk to you." Camille blinked like she'd just been slapped. "You don't mean that." "I do," Emily said, dead serious. "You blew up our life for some loser with a neck tattoo. You didn't just cheat on Dad. You bailed on me, too." Camille's face twisted. "Don't let him poison you against me." And that's when Emily stood up eye to eye with her. "I'm not poisoned. I just finally see who you are." Camille stormed out, but not before promising, "You'll regret this, both of you." 2 days later, her revenge came in the form of legal paperwork. She was filing for full custody of Emily. Now mind you, Emily's 17, a month from turning 18. But Camille's lawyer claimed I was mentally unstable, vindictive, and neglectful, using Emily's temporary move-in as proof of coercion. It was all complete BS, but it still dragged us back into court. Linda nearly choked on her coffee when she read the filing. She's either delusional or desperate, probably both. So we built our case. Emily testified in a closed hearing, told the judge everything. How Camille left in the middle of the night without a goodbye. How Brad practically moved in 3 weeks before the affair even went public. How Camille kept trying to guilt her into supporting true love. The judge saw through the theatrics in 10 minutes flat. Custody denied. Camille looked like she'd swallowed a grenade, but then she did something even worse. She posted a 10-minute Facebook video titled, "The Truth About My Ex and My Daughter." It was full of crocodile tears and outright lies, claiming I was emotionally abusive, said I controlled her every move, even hinted I had a drinking problem. Then she claimed Emily was brainwashed, and that I had isolated her from the world. It racked up 80,000 views in 2 days. Camille's friends commented with emojis and stay strong messages. Few local busybodies even messaged me. One asked if I needed help finding a rehab center. I was fuming. So was Emily. She went on TikTok. No tears, no filter, just facts. My mom lied about everything. She cheated. She abandoned me. And now she's lying again because I wouldn't pretend it didn't happen. She showed screenshots, timeline receipts, even posted a side-by-side of Camille's truth and the court's official custody ruling. It went viral. The video crossed 1 million views in less than 48 hours. Then some small-time podcast picked it up. Then a bigger one. Suddenly, Camille wasn't an empowered woman reclaiming her life. She was a trending cautionary tale on weaponizing motherhood. Brands quietly pulled their affiliate deals. A blog post she'd written for a wellness site was taken down. Her healing through astrology course? Canceled. But the part that hit her hardest? Brad ghosted her. Turns out once the money froze and the attention turned sour, he packed up and vanished. Took the last few grand they had and booked a one-way ticket to Panama. Camille was alone, broke, legally screwed, and now publicly humiliated. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt exhausted. One night, Emily and I were sitting on the back porch sharing a pizza. She turned to me and said, "I don't hate her, I just don't trust her anymore." "That's enough," I said. "You don't owe her your forgiveness." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "We're gonna be okay, right?" "Better than okay," I told her. "We're free." But Camille, she had one card left to play, one that even I didn't see coming. Because when I checked my credit score the next week, it had plummeted. At first, I thought it was a glitch. I was checking my bank statements like I always do Sunday mornings. Coffee, slippers, Tucker curled up at my feet. When I noticed the alert, "Your credit score has dropped 142 points. Excuse me? I hadn't missed a payment in 10 years. No loans, no maxed out cards, nothing. I clicked through to the details, heart thumping in my throat. There it was. 3 maxed out credit cards, all recently opened, all in my name, except I didn't open any of them. I stared at the screen like it was written in another language. $27,000 in charges across furniture stores, boutique travel agencies, a damn custom mattress company in Miami. It didn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure it out. Camille. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and called Linda. "Can she do this?" I barked. "Is this even legal?" She sighed. "Only if she had access to your social and a few old documents, like from when you were married," which she did. My gut turned. I checked the application dates. One was backdated to 6 months ago, before the divorce filing, meaning it was during our separation, when I was too focused on getting her out of the house to notice some random mail missing from the counter. The other 2 were post-filing. That made it fraud. Linda filed the report that afternoon. We contacted the banks, flagged the charges, submitted a formal identity theft complaint, but the damage, it was done. My mortgage refi offer got pulled. A promotion I was up for, on hold until my finances were cleared up. My car insurance premium doubled, all because Camille decided that if she couldn't win, she'd take me down with her. And then came the real slap. A letter from the IRS. Apparently, Camille had filed a joint tax return using both our names and routing info, claiming a fake business loss so she could collect a $6,300 refund. She even used my old accounting login. I couldn't breathe. It felt like drowning in molasses. I remember pacing my living room, hands in my hair, muttering, "How is she still in my life? How does she keep reaching through the wreckage and pulling more crap down on me?" Emily saw me spiraling and put her hand on my shoulder. "Dad," she said, calm but serious. "She's not done. You need to hit back." I looked at her. My daughter, 17, still recovering from the war zone of her mother's betrayal, and she was the one giving me strength. And that's when it clicked. I still had an ace. I hadn't wanted to use it. Thought maybe I could win this without stooping to her level. But this wasn't about pride anymore. Camille had crossed a line. She went after my future, my name, my daughter's stability. She wanted a war? Fine. I dug through my files and found the old backup drive Camille never thought I kept. Years ago, we'd run a small Etsy side hustle. She'd make resin jewelry, I handled the numbers, the taxes, the reports, the sales receipts. It didn't make much, mostly beer money, but I had everything backed up. And on that drive, a spreadsheet Camille once accidentally synced from her personal folder. It was titled Emergency Nest. Inside were transfers, thousands, moved quietly over years from various joint accounts into a private online bank. Even during our marriage, she was squirreling away cash behind my back. Some of it was from my freelance income. Stuff I worked extra hours on. Stuff I thought was being saved for college. Or the deck she swore we'd build one day. She'd been planning her escape long before Brad came into the picture. I sent it to Linda. Is this enough to prove intent? Due to fraud, she called back 5 minutes later. Oh, we're not just proving intent, we're proving premeditation. She's cooked. We filed an emergency motion. Our claim, that Camille knowingly committed financial fraud before, during, and after the divorce, falsified tax documents, opened credit lines in my name, and concealed marital assets. This wasn't just petty revenge anymore. This was a federal crime. The court date was set for 2 weeks later. Camille, now completely off social media and apparently couch surfing after her little condo nest got seized during Brad's fraud investigation, showed up looking like she hadn't slept in days. The judge didn't hold back. She didn't even try to deny it. Her lawyer argued mental stress, emotional instability, claimed Camille had a psychological break due to post-divorce trauma. The judge didn't buy a word. Camille was sentenced to 6 months house arrest with a tracking monitor, 1,000 hours of community service, and ordered to pay back $43,000 in damages over 5 years or face jail time. I finally had peace. She couldn't hurt me anymore. The best part? The judge also sealed Emily's information from Camille permanently. Until Emily turned 18, Camille had no access, no texts, no calls, not even a birthday card. It was over. And yet part of me still stared at the ceiling some nights thinking, how the hell did it get this bad? And what kind of person keeps digging their own grave even after you've thrown them a rope? It should have ended there. Camille under house arrest. Emily safe. My finances slowly recovering. I got the promotion after all. Senior project manager, decent raise, and finally some recognition for years of keeping the place afloat. Emily turned 18 3 weeks after Camille's sentencing. We celebrated with tacos, bad karaoke, and a cake that read legally free. She laughed so hard she nearly choked on the frosting. We were healing. I didn't think about Camille much after that. Honestly, I tried not to think about her at all. But closure? Closure has a twisted sense of humor. It was a Thursday. Quiet. Emily was at work, and I was finally putting up the new fence I'd been planning since spring. Tucker was chasing squirrels like it was his job. That's when the knock came. Not a casual knock, not a friendly neighbor knock. It was loud, aggressive, 3 quick pounds, followed by silence. I wiped my hands on my jeans, walked to the door, and froze. Brad thinner, shaggier, sunburnt, and holding an envelope. What the hell are you doing here? I growled, stepping halfway out the door to block him. I'm not here to cause trouble, man. I swear. He looked wrecked, eyes sunken, a twitch in his jaw that screamed withdrawal. I need to talk, just 5 minutes. Say it from the porch. He sighed and handed me the envelope. It's from Camille. She passed away. The words didn't register at first, just bounced off like static. What? Overdose last weekend. Painkillers, they said. House arrest wasn't going well, she wasn't talking to anyone. I found out 2 days ago. I didn't say anything. Just opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. 2 pages. Camille's handwriting, still flowy, dramatic like it belonged on some expensive thank you card nobody reads. Chris, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. And no, I'm not writing to ask for forgiveness. I know I burned the bridge down and salted the earth beneath it. But I need you to know the truth before I disappear completely. Brad didn't seduce me. I chased him. I wanted out of the marriage, the suburb life, the routine. I thought I was dying inside, being a mom, a wife, someone dependable. I wanted chaos, passion. I wanted to feel wanted. And then when I had it, I realized I was the problem. Not you, not Emily, me. By the time I figured that out, the damage was done, and I didn't know how to live with it. The fraud, the lies, the accounts, that was me trying to control something again. To matter. I'm sorry for everything. Not because I want pity, but because you didn't deserve the war I brought into your life. Tell Emily. Tell her I always loved her. I just didn't know how to be a mother. Camille. I folded the letter and stared out past Brad's shoulder, not really seeing anything. 100 emotions tried to rush in at once. Grief, Rage, pity, exhaustion. I don't know what you want from me, I finally said. Brad scratched the back of his neck. I thought you should know. And there's one more thing. He pulled a USB stick from his pocket. She left this too. Said you'd know what to do with it. He handed it to me and walked away without another word. I didn't call out after him. Just closed the door, locked it, and sat at the table with Tucker curled by my feet, the USB turning over in my hand, plugged it into my laptop. One folder. For Emily. Inside, dozens of voice memos, journals, even old baby videos. Stuff I hadn't seen in years. Camille had compiled everything. Memories, regrets, little thoughts she'd recorded during late nights when she was clearly spiraling. And one final message. Emily, if you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it. I was broken long before you were born, and I spent most of my life pretending I wasn't. But you were the best thing I ever did. The only thing I got right, even if I kept getting it wrong. Don't carry my shame. Don't let my failures become your burden. I love you, and I hope someday you'll find peace where I couldn't. That night I sat Emily down and let her listen. She didn't cry right away. She just stared at the floor, fists clenched in her hoodie sleeves, breathing slow. And then one tear rolled down her cheek. Then another. She didn't say much. Just whispered, she could have gotten help. I nodded. Yeah, but she didn't. We buried the letter in the backyard, just the two of us. No ceremony, no speeches. Emily planted a flower over it. Little sunflower seedling she'd been nursing in her room window. Something good has to grow, she said quietly. And it did. Months passed. Emily got into college, art therapy major, said she wanted to help kids like her. Kids with wounds they didn't know how to name yet. Me. I started writing again, just little stories, sometimes angry, sometimes healing, always honest. But every so often I hear that knock again in my mind, the one that brought the ghost back to our door. And I remember, closure doesn't come when they're gone. It comes when you're still here and finally ready to live again. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought, or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.